All right, so right now we're going to create a webhook to listen to the Stripe event. So for that, let's go inside the app. I'm going to create a new folder called API. And inside here, I'm going to call this one webhook. And maybe I'm going to do another one is going to be Stripe as well. Okay, so we have 3 folders right here. And this is going to be the route.ts. So right here, I'm going to paste the boilerplate that I have here. So I'm going to explain you. So this is we're gonna import everything that we needed, stripes, next header, and the buffer right here, since we're gonna get the raw body. So we're gonna pass it with the buffer. And so here we create a stripe initial stripe object using the stripe as secret. I think this key right here different from our, and because I just stripe sk right here, I'm gonna change this one. And this is like the Stripe secret endpoint. And so for this one, we're gonna to make sure that the connection between the Stripe and our API is secure. So that's why we have this one. So I think I'm gonna need to add this key to our local env as well. And then to where do we get this one? So maybe we can come back and update that information. So this one, we're gonna construct the header and then we get an event. So if not, we can have like some error and we respond this one. And this is where we're gonna listen to different type of events from Stripe right here. So right so far this is the example that's from the Stripe subscription deleted. But right here we can, as you can see, if you do this one, we can give a lot of option that you can see with different event. Okay. So now I'm gonna change this one back. So right now, let's try to get the Stripe endpoint secret first. So to do that, let's go back inside your Stripe dashboard and go to the developer and go to webhooks. And this is where we can add our local host listener. And if you want to deploy the production, we're gonna talk about that later. So gonna add local listener right here. So you can see this is like the endpoint secret that we need to use for our local. So I'm gonna copy this value right here, and then come back here so we can paste this one. So right now we're good to go with this one. So right now, what kind of event that we need to listen to for this one? So if you going back into the event right here, so this is like a different kind of events that will be called whenever we subscribe to the, and as you can see, we have like a session is not complete, or another one, I think for this one, we have like invoice payment succeed. So I'm gonna listen to this as invoice payment succeed right here. And so let's come back here so we can have like the invoice payment succeed. And for this one, that's good. So right now from here, we can be able to get an object from this one. So here I'm going to console.log. As of now, console.log is going to be events.data.object. So this is we get an object that's related to payment succeed. It is similar to here. So you can see whenever we subscribe to and then there's an event, this event is fired. This is all the object that we can be able to get. And so then we can be able to retrieve it right here. And so right now, we need to run the Stripe local and our local. So to do that, let's go back inside the webhook again. And let's go add listener. So the thing that you need to do is you need to do Stripe forward right here. And so make sure you need to install Stripe first, CLI. So you can go into this link. And so it will go into the documentation and to download the Stripe. So I'm not sure this is the right doc. So maybe we can do like a Stripe downloads CLI. And I think this first link right here. So this is like if you're using with Homebrew, like on Mac, it's gonna be easy. You can just follow this one. But if you're on Windows, you need to follow this documentation. Let's say, for example, here, you need to download the version that is matched to your operating system. So for example, this something like that. And so in my case, so you can see this is what I downloaded for the Stripe, and then I need to open this one. So I need to unzip this one and then put it right here. So and then I can run the cmd command. So after that, I should be able to get this right here. So right now, and I tested this one before, I can clear this one first. So maybe I can do like this stripes-v. So as you can see, I'll be able to run a Stripe. So make sure you be able to run this one, okay? So right now we're going to run the Stripe forward, and we can come back here. copy this command, and then let's go back inside here. So where we're gonna forward it to. So this is going to forward into HTTP localhost, and I'm not sure, like I need to pass one. Let's test it out together as well. So this is gonna be 3000, and then we're gonna have the API, the webhook, and the last one is gonna be Stripe. Okay, so that right now let's try to run this one. So as you can see right now, everything is good to go because we create this API right here. So you can see API, webhook, Stripe, and there's no error right here. All right, so right now we are running this one. So the next step that we're going to do is to fire some event. So in order to do that, we can go and let this user check out again. So let's try to test this one. So I'm going to check out subscription again, click on this one. And so we get this information. So make sure you use fake credit card here. I'm going to just pass fake information. This is going to be test file. And let's do subscribes. And so right now it's processing. So okay, everything is complete. So if we go back in here, so as you can see, we should be able to get a different events and fire to this endpoint that we created. So the only we listening to is going to be invoice payment succeed, which is this one. So I believe if we go back in here, we go into console.log. So let's go into our log right here. So you can see we get the object that we get from here. Okay, so we get everything that we needed. So right now we have this information. So the next step that we're going to do is to, I think for this one, we're going to update the Supabase dashboard data table. So we need to create a table to store this information that related to this user. All right. All right, so right now we're going to create the subscription table to store the subscription status of the user. So before we doing that, I'm going to convert our profiles table right here, the field email, into the primary key, and is unique as well. So because we're going to link this one with the subscription table. So let's do that. Right here, we're going to have the subscriptions table. And then inside here, I'm going to change this one to email instead. And the type of this one is going to be text. And so we can add the foreign key, the profile email, which going to the email here. We're going to do cascade as well. So this one, so whenever the profile table deleted, this field will be, this record will be deleted as well. So we're going to add more field here. So we're going to have the customer ID. So this is like the Stripe customer ID. And another one is going to be the subscriptions ID. And another one is going to be an ad. Okay. So right here, we can go into type of this one, text, and this one also text as well. And yeah, this one is going to be nullable. So this one we can update later from our webhooks. So when we have the event, so we can update and fill out this information right here. So I think that's pretty much it as of now. Let's hit save this one. All right, so right now what I wanted to do is whenever there's a new profile, when a new user is created, I wanted to have the field of subscription as well, but we're gonna insert only the email only. And for the rest of this ones, we can update it later when we listen from the webhooks. So in order to do that, we can go into the functions and create user on sign up right here and go inside here. So right now we only insert into this public profile. So we can insert another one, which is going to be insert into the subscription table. And the value that we're going to insert is going to be emails only. Okay. And which is this one. And so right now this is going to be new.email, and I can remove everything else. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So right now we can hit confirm on this one. So right now let's go inside the profile, and we're going to delete the user and try to recreate the user again. So I'm going to go into this user and try to delete his profile. And right now let's go inside our localhost 3000 and try to log in again with the create a new user again. And right here, I'm going to click on sign in with GitHub right here. So you can see right now we successfully log in. And then if we look back inside our dashboard, so which is, I think, this one right here. And let's go inside the profile. So we have two profile right here. And if we go to subscription, we have this information. So the only thing that we need to do is to update this one when the payment is succeed. All right, so right now we're going to update our subscription table when a payment is succeed. So the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to generate a new type of this table that we just create, which is subscription table. And so I'm going to run this command right here. And so in order to update the subscription table, so if you look at right here, we do not enable any row security level at all. So it means no one can just go and update the subscription table, right? So because we disable this one because we don't want the user can just come in and update the information right here. So in order to update this one, we're gonna use the service role key. So we go to API and then the service role key right here. So this is equivalent to the admin key because they have you can see this will bypass the row security level and never share this one to publicly. Okay, and so right now we're gonna copy this one and make sure we put this one in the local env. I have added already. I call this one Supabase admin, and notice that this one is not public, so that's why we do not have the next public start of this one, and make sure this one run on a server only. We never expose this one to the client and to the browser. All right. So right now we have this key. So the next step that we need to do is we need to create the admin client. So far we have the browser and then the server. So right now I'm going to create another one. It's going to be this one. And so I can just copy everything from this one and paste it right here. Great. So right now I'm remove this one. I'm going to call this one use server. Make sure that everything here run on a server, and then just Supabase admin. And right here I'm going to remove everything here. So for this one I can just do with the async, but because we use with the server, we need to make sure that this function is an async function. Great. So right now let's try to create an admin, and so for that we can go into the documentation. You can do Supabase let's say admin, and the first link right here will be show you how to set up that. So this one, let's just copy and come back here. I think we need to cut this one on top, and so we need the Supabase URL, which is this one. And so we're gonna do process.env this one, and another one is going to be the Supabase admin key right here. So it's gonna be process.env this one, and then we're gonna do this to avoid TypeScript error. And after that we can just return the Supabase right here. Okay. So right now we have our Supabase admin. So let's go back inside our webhook right here. So I'm going to store this one inside as a result, and this one right here. And right now we need to import our Supabase admin. So I'm going to do const Supabase equal to Supabase admin. Oops, not this one. This one is going to be Supabase admin. And we need to do a wait of this one as well, since this is an async function. So right now, I think I forgot to add the type of this one. So we can do data base. Nice. And then we can come back here. We can do Supabase dot from. As you can see, we get subscription, and then we're gonna do insert into this one. So let's do insert, and we get the type. So this is gonna be an add. And then we're gonna do the customer, and another one is going to be, I think this is not insert, this is going to be update, right? So we update and add customer, and then another one is going to be the subscription ID. Great. And then we're gonna do this one dot equal. We're gonna do the email, the email here with the email that we get. So all right. So where do we get this information? So I'm going to do this one right here. So first is going to be an add right here. So it's going to be equal to result. So if you look at this information, go to event, and this is like the payment succeed. So this is like the object that we get. So in order to get the an add right here, we need to go to line data, and then we can go to period right here. This is the an add value. And so we can copy this value, and let me show you what it's like. So we inspect, and then I think I run it before. Yeah, this is value right here. So I can paste this value, and then we need to time 1,000 of this one to get the real date. So you can see the end subscription date will be next month from today. So because today I run this one on 16 on February, and this is on March. Great. So we can get this one. So this is going to be line dot data, and then index 0, and then we're going to do dot periods dot end. Okay, and so we need to convert this one to the date. So we're going to new dot date this one, and then we need this one to time 1,000, and then we're going to do dot to ISO string. Okay, great. So right now we have the and another one is going to be the customer ID. So it's going to be result.customer. And this one we're going to do as a string as well. So the reason that I do not call this one directly here because I need to cast the type of this one. So, okay, so another one is subscription ID is going to be equal to result.subscription. And I guess this one right here. And I'm going to make this one as a string as well. Great. So this one we're going to do is equal. And so for this one, we need to get the customer email. So this is going to be email is going to be equal to result.customer email. This one as a string. And then we can add the email right here. So right now, this is will update. And then let's do the await right here. And then we're going to have the result. I'm going to get the error from here only. So we can check if there's an error. And we can respond back with an error, which is this one. So right now, I can do the error dot maybe message. And also I'm going to do the console.log as well. So then we can easily debug if there's an error. Okay. I think that's pretty much it for this one. And if we go back inside our Supabase dashboard right here, and let's go inside this one, database and subscription. I think I messed up with the and add because this one should be date instead of text. I'm going to update this one to type date instead. Okay. Right now, let's hit save this one. And if we go back right here, okay, I think that should be all good to go. I think since I update this one, I need to fetch this one again as well. So we can update the type of this one. Okay, great. So I think everything is good. So right now, let's try to test this one again. Go here, go click on getting started. And we're going to fill out this information. All right, so right here, you can see it's success. It's returned our success page. Everything good to go. And let's check out the subscription. As you can see, we update this one. As you can see, also we update the end date as well. So as you can see, this is 1 month from now, the end date subscription right here. So whenever there's a new subscription, we're going to update this one only. Okay. All right, I think that's pretty much it. That's great. So yeah, so in the next part, what we're going to do is to, based on this information, we're going to use this one to render and fill out some, let's say, getting the user be able to get some protected data that only the subscription user be able to get. All right. All right, so in this part, we're going to work on render the UI when the user subscribe already. So for example, they go to the subscription page, they can see the data. And if they haven't subscribed, we can show them like the price that they need to subscribe and things like that. And so let's go inside here. So the first, we're going to fetch the user information and to check if they subscribe already. So you can go into use user hook. And right here, we can get the, let's say, I think the subscription table. So since there's a relationship to each other, so we can add the star right here. And if we going back, if we refresh this one, and if we look at the query right here, we should be able to see the subscription. But right now we get null. The reason because of the policy of the subscription table. So let's go and update the policy. So I click on new policy, this one. And so for this one, I allow only the user to read only, and they can read only their own information only. So for that, I think we can choose this template, the update one. And then after that, we can copy this one and go to select. So right here, as you can see, this is allow only the user email. So because the email right here is a unique ID, so that's why we can check allow only them to read their own ID, let's say the information only. And this one is going to be authenticated. All right, and this is going to be read. And let's hit preview and hit save this one. So right now, if we go back and I've clicked on invalidate this one, so you can see we should be able to get the information such as the end date, the email, and everything right here. Great. So right now we can use this information and go into the subscription page. And so far this is what we render. So for this, there's a lot of different way to, let's say, render the page data. So I'm going to show you first. It's going to based on the client render. So I'm going to make this page as the use client. Okay. And so this one, we're going to fetch the user information. So we're going to be user. And so for this one, we can do this and we can get the data. And I'm gonna change the name of this one to user. This one need to be uppercase since we use the hook right here. So right here, we're gonna get is loading as well. And if it is loading, so we can just return null. Okay, I'm gonna return the empty fragment, and you can add an indicator as well. So right here, we can check if it is active. And so we can do the user dot subscription. So right now the IntelliSense right here, maybe I need to add the types to our subscription user right here. So we hover on this one, so we can be able to get the type of the subscription. So I'm going to copy this information right here, and I'm going to paste this one. So right now I'm going to change this one to empty. This is empty as well. And this is going to be empty string. This is like the initial user. So let's do this one empty, and the last one is empty as well. Okay. All right. Let it save. So we go back right here. We should be able to do dot and subscription and dot and add right here. So first we're gonna check if there's no value. So if it's this one is empty, so the active is gonna be false. Else we can check if the new date, since this is a date string, right? So we can do user dot subscriptions dot and add is bigger than the new date. Okay. And right now this is gonna show us an active or not. And so this is depend on like how you display this page. So maybe you can say like this is subscription page and things like that. And so right here we're gonna render. We can check if it is active. So and then we're gonna show them like some other component that you need to fetch. So for example, I'm going to create a new component called post. And right here. So right now I'm gonna use the post right here, and else if it's not, I'm gonna show them the another component, the div right here. Okay, and make sure I import this post component, and this one is going to be the price component. Okay, great. So right now the post right here, let's say this is like this is like the where you show the protected data. This is protected the data. So later on we're gonna use this one to fetch the data, but as of now we can just render it first. So we're going back right now. I think if I go to the page, I misspelled the use client. Okay, let's save this one. So going here, refresh this one, so you can see this is subscription page and this is protecting data. So this is like the title of a page, and since the user is active, that's why we be able to see the post right here. Otherwise we will see the price component. So for example, if I come back here and let's update the user subscription right here, and the end date, this one, I'm gonna add the end date. Let's change to the next month, maybe January instead. Nope, not this one. So January, this one. Okay, so I hit save this one. So if we go back right here, if I invalidate the data again, so invalidate the data, so you can see we have this data, we have this component right here. So maybe we can add some information. Let's say you need to subscribe to see the data. Okay, and maybe we add some styling, so maybe text center, and then text to 3XL, font to bold, and have some spaces one, so space Y to 5, and I'm gonna add the space between this. Maybe it's all right, I guess this one. Okay, so you can see we need to do you need to subscribe first to see the data, and this is just maybe we can remove this one, it's fine. Okay, so yeah, that pretty much it. So right now let's try to test this one again. So when I subscribe this one, and then I'm gonna fill out the information here. So as you can see, we success. If we go back to our subscription page, so you can see we be able to see the protected data and not the price to our check-in. So one thing that we can update this one, so you can see whenever we check out, it's return redirect to success page, right? So we can change this one to, let's say, if you check out from the subscription component of this one, subscription page, so when the redirect back, it should redirect back to the subscription page. So for that, let's go inside the checkout component. And then for this one, as you can see, this is where we're gonna render. So one thing that we can do is we can render where it's being called. So this is gonna be location.origin, and I'm gonna do locations dot pass name instead. So this is gonna be plus, so this is where we're gonna redirect to after success. So right now, let's try to do the subscription again. So for example, I'm gonna go back here, and then I'm gonna update the date again. So let's do this date, save this one, refresh this one. And right now we add a subscription page. So if I go into subscribe to one of this one, and I'm gonna fill out this information here. Alright, so as you can see, we redirect back to subscription page. Okay, so the next step that we need to do is to be able to fetch the data from our database. So I think in the next step, we're going to create a new table to store our post data, and then we're gonna fetch those data inside this component right here. Alright, so right now I'm going to create a new table called post, and this table is going to be example only. And if you work on a real application, you probably work on a different name of this different table. And the goal of this table is to demonstrate you how to protect the data for authenticate user and also the data for the subscription user. Okay, so right here, I'm going to make this one really simple. And we have this one, and let's do text as well. And the type of this one is going to be text, and let's hit save. So right now I'm going to insert into the new record inside this one. Let's say testing, and let's hit save this one. So for the policy as of now, for this table, I'm going to allow read this one is to be true and authenticated. So it means every authenticated user be able to read this post right here. So later on, we can come back and update only allow only subscription user. As of now, let's go back inside our code and try to fetch this data. And so right here, I'm going to make this one as just two example. I'm going to make this one as a use effect instead. And so use effect right here. So I'm going to create a function called get post. Oops, and this one. And so we're going to get our Supabase. So Supabase is equal to Supabase browser. And then we can have like a Supabase dot from post. And then we're going to do select star. We select everything, and then we're going to select every record as well. We can do a wait, and then we're going to have the data right here. Okay, so and then we can console.log the data, and then I make sure that I need to make this one as an async, and then I'm going to call this one right here. Okay, all right, great. So right now we have this one, so let's go back inside here. And so if I refresh this one, so as you can see, we'll be able to fetch this data. But right now, let's try to allow only authenticate user, and also the user need to be subscribed as well in order to read this data. So for that, let's go and inside this policy, I'm going to create a new function. So, and the new function is going to be set active. And then the return value is going to be bool. And then this one, we're gonna write something. This one is first, we're gonna be declare variable. So I'm gonna create a new variable. This is gonna be var and add, and the type of this one is gonna be date, and this is the begin and begin, and this one is gonna be end. So for this one, it's gonna be select and add into the var and add right here. And this one is going to be from public.subscriptions, where the email is going to be equal to auth.jwt, and then we can grab the email the user who sent this one. Okay, so we can get the email here. So right now we select the add, and then we insert into this variable right here. So here we can check, we can just return the var and add is bigger than the current data or not. current date. Okay, so this is like the current date that we are running this one, and this is the ad that we create, right? So, and security, this one, so we can just use the security invoker right here since we select the subscription based on the user email right here. Great, so right now we can hit confirm on this one. Okay, so I think I misspelled this one. Let's hit confirm again. All right, so everything good. So we can copy this one. So we go back inside our post, and for the policy of this one, let's change from true to is subs active and click on review. And so right now, as you can see, if I refresh this one, I should be able to see the data again because this user is active, right? The subscription is active. So if, for example, if I going to update the subscription to expire, which is going to be this one right here, and let's set this one, but you can see generate this one. And if I come back here, if I refresh this one, so right now we see this page, but let's try to disable this page. So if we go back inside our code, go to our page. So let's say if for some reason the user be able to access to this post component, right? I'm gonna call this one outside. I'm gonna uncomment this one. So even though if they access this one, but if you look at the data, if you go kind of console.log, we get error, the array is none. So there's no data that returned back because the policy that we set right here is allow only the authenticate user who is subscription only that be able to access this one. I mean, the subscription who is active. That's why, as you can see, even though they access to this component, but the data is null. So right here, I'm not going to use it to render the data because this is just example. And this is like, if you work on a real application, you probably fetch this one differently. Maybe you fetch this one inside the use query, React query instead. So yeah. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it. So right now, we be able to protect our data and allow only authenticate user and subscription user to be able to access the data. And so with this function right here, so you can see this subs active, you can use this one in any policy of any table that you want to do. So for example, you create a new table and you add the policy to that one that allow, let's say, read or write the policy only allow only if the user is subscription. So that's how you do it. So for example, here, if in order to create, you need to is sub active. So is subs active, something like that. So then the user can insert into this post component if they are subscription. So if they subscribe, so they can be able to insert. This is just example, but probably in a real world application, it's probably a little bit something different. All right, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this series video. So right now we successfully connect with Stripe, and then we go and we be able to protect the user data based on their status, subscription status, and also we render the data based on the status as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully you like this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.